Yo, what is good? My anime faithful, what is good, yo? So, Promised Neverland and Circus this week, absolutely masterpieces of episodes, just begging the question of what is going to happen soon. But before that, let's only talk about some Promised Neverland. Knowing that Norman was supposed to be shift off, we get this instance of really like Ray, uh, excuse me, Ray showing his true feelings and his true intentions if things don't start going his way. And his way is pretty much he needs to handle everything, if possible, as soon as possible when it comes down to these types of people being taken from him and being hurt. So it's nice to see this side of him because I knew it existed. It's just nice to know that he actually kind of understands what he means to everybody, or what we understand, at least what Norman means to him. So there's no way that he would ever trying to go against him now, in my opinion. But it also shows us now that there is so little hope in this show, man. I've never been so just lost for words. Like, I didn't even know how to feel when I saw that. I just had a bad feeling that it was going to be something negative once they saw the top of the wall, because not only did people know about certain aspects of what was going on when they were trying to escape, but some of them still chose to stay. So it can only make you imagine what could have made them, or what could they have saw to want to stay in a situation like that. And Ray pretty much shows us exactly what it is, and man, it like terrifying. Straight up have these guys on some giant cliff, or the eight. I mean, we're dealing with monsters, right? We're dealing with some outworldly stuff that we really can't necessarily quantify, if they are whatever the author wants them to be, something completely out of the norm. So, uh, what's stopping them from just taking some device and drilling, or like straight up slicing that hole, making this cliff pretty much like it? Because from what I can see, the other side of the wall looks exactly like the forest. It looks exactly like the forest, right? Um, and that's probably due to the fact that these are like seeds, or they're just multiple places of plants. Um, in the case of, they're just a bunch of it might just be made. These places are tailor made to look like that, regardless of what happens. And to see this pretty much uh, foil their plans and kind of take the audience even further in a disbelief that they can escape. They went into pretty good details um, about how what's this called? The tunnel. Oh, so Ray is the true ray of sunshine this week, because if he wasn't born the way he was born, for one thing, he probably would already either A, be dead, or B, had gotten um, either shipped off, or he would still be in this house and just oblivious to everything. So, because Ray is the way he is, it truly puts into perspective what you're gonna do with the character. Him remembering everything from a fetus, even if some of it was dark, he still remembers very like key details like that. So it's this instance now where we're kind of in a position where Ray uh, saves everybody's, or he's lying again. He could be working for Mama again or whatever. But I think he's over that after seeing the way he was reacting to Norman. So to know that he actually wants what's best for them, it puts into perspective just how dire he might think this situation is, and how he was even willing to let Norman try to escape and deal with whatever the consequences comes with it later. Like he really didn't care what came after that, as long as Ray was taking care of his friend. So now that we understand that Ray pretty much knows that it's a dark tunnel that he came down, and there would be practically no way for them to get past or go through that way, because even the sister herself said that wasn't like an intelligent way to try to go about leaving. So now it's kind of coming to the conclusion that that's the only way you can leave. Like they straight up got to go into the organization of these crazies. Wow, that range is trash. And pretty much try to escape that way. You know what I mean? Like I love the thought of taking away the one thing we pretty much thought wasn't a sure thing, and then just completely taking that belief away, and try to make some other way the benefactor, or the other way just the way that they have to get it in general. Because think about it, if there's a giant cliff and they want to have all these kids escape, not only do they have to make a rope, make sure they can run up said rope. I think I'm getting bodied. And all of that, plus you have to um, figure out just what you're going to do about the whole situation, where anybody who is left behind, Emma's going to want to go back for them. So there's no point of leaving anyone behind at this point. And that's just pretty much for Ray, because we already know Ray wouldn't mind leaving some of these kids behind, because it would probably slow him down. So overall, it's this weird feeling of urgency now that Emma has her leg broken. They can pretty much do nothing about it, because it's just going to heal on its own time. But at the same time, we're looking at Mama, and she's like, she's very not she's just not phased by the idea of them, doing anything, to the fact that she straight up is just outside chilling at nighttime. I don't think we've ever seen her out this late, or like the kids out this late. So all of a sudden, holy crap, that did a lot of damage. All of a sudden, we're letting the kids out and they're having fun and stuff. And then it's like she knew the attempt was going to happen, so she just waited it out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand um why her character is so menacing until you see her calm, her patience, and how everything is playing out exactly how she kind of expects it. Just like the grandma when she did it to her. Now we know exactly why she probably didn't even attempt to make any other escapes, seeing how it was a giant cliff. The only thing I was thinking is, are they completely on like an island? Is this thing just the middle of? It's like an island hanging on a cliff, and then they walled off all the sides. Because if it is, maybe there's a side with water. But from what I'm seeing, man, I honestly am so glad I didn't read anything or hear anything about this show, because I would have been so mad to know anything about how this narrative is going to play out. Absolutely threw me for a mind twist seeing this final couple of seconds of the episode, and seeing Norman's eyes look like they had no life in them after seeing that. Man, it's clear to me that either Norman's going to have one of the best advice, he's going to get like some of the best prep talking ever, again because he already kind of like couldn't even control his shaking and stuff. So we already know he's in a very, very bad spot. But to think that he's also, you know, kind of, he's one of the brains of this operation. He's one of the people who, I don't know, he's one of the people who make everybody kind of have an idea of what should happen. And to just see him go out in this week's episode in the sense of like his mind, like she completely just let him go out there and see that there was no real type of hope. I think for her own purpose and gains, you know, just to make him that much easier to subdue and that much easier to cooperate when it comes down to leaving. And he gets the final hit. What a dirtbag. But yeah, overall, one of my favorite episodes so far because it just shows you that regardless of what we keep learning, nothing seems foolproof and nothing seems like it's truly going to actually help. And that's what kind of like really messes me up in the long term. It's like they're really just gonna let these kids go out like dirty, dirty. So um, if they do go out like that, I don't see it happening like that, but it seems possible at this point, guys. Like anything in this show is possible when you have a mama who supposedly is acting as if she loves everybody, but in reality, she is straight up happy and smiling, knowing that Norman's going to get killed off and that all these kids are going to miss him and stuff like that. She's been doing this for years, you know? So that's just how messed up this show is and how little she actually cares about what's going on. Pretty terrifying stuff, guys. Um, but yeah, overall, we're gonna definitely be seeing. God, you can't use low-level characters for stuff like this. We're gonna just be seeing a lot of different things for the whole overall narrative of um, the escapes, the overall content where it comes down to just having people, well, not people, but these kids that are younger than them, they might have to start thinking of ways that they can't even get them out. You know, I mean, somehow they now have to cross a giant gap of a cliff that then, even if they cross it, are you safe? Are you anywhere that you can just start living your life, you know? Like, are you just going into another plant? What if they literally just cross over the cliff into a plant of a different group of kids and mamas that are doing the same thing? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's this weird feeling that are they just going back to something even worse than what they just were dealing with? Or is there actually hope in crossing that cliff? Because if there's no hope in the cliff as well, bruh, bruh, this show is dirty. They just don't care about the well-being of these kids, man. But yeah, overall, I'm about to drop another video. I apologize if you guys don't like having this much content on one day, but you can all watch it at your own speed. I'm not forcing you guys to watch anything as well that you don't care to watch anyway. So if you're not a fan of certain things that I put on the shows, I don't expect you guys to watch all my videos. So I appreciate it if you guys do watch them, even if you aren't like keeping up with the series and all that stuff. That's amazing. But at the same time, I completely understand that sometimes you just, you know, I make stuff that people don't really care about, and I do, so that's why I continue to do so. So with that being said, guys, I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening. I'm about to drop another video really soon here, so make sure you have that notification bell on and ring-a-ding-dinged so you'll get instantly notified when I drop something. So with all that being said, take care, everybody, and I will talk to you very soon. All right. Oh, my Lord. Peace.